So it looks like Canon will finally be getting third-party lenses from companies like Sigma for their RF mount. For those of you who don't know what's going on, essentially Canon has never licensed out their RF mount or allowed manufacturers to make autofocusing lenses for their RF system. There have been some manual RF lenses made in the past that you can buy, but for autofocus specifically, there have only been a few lens companies that have made Canon RF autofocusing lenses, and Canon sent them a cease and desist letter to basically stop the production and sales of these lenses. And Canon basically wanted full control over their RF mount. They wanted them to be the only people making lenses for their RF system, but that is all about to change. If you are a Canon shooter specifically for the RF line and you never wanted to buy an adapter to use older lenses, you never really had a lot of lens options, and that's because of this RF licensing thing that's going on. And the only options you really had were to spend $3,000 on super expensive RF lenses for one RF lens, or buy their super cheap limited STM lenses. There was no middle grade or mid-tier lenses, or even for that matter, really good lenses at an affordable price. So this is kind of a really big announcement because from the day that the RF mount was introduced, everyone has been waiting to see third-party lenses for the Canon RF mount, and we just never saw it until today. This is honestly one of the biggest reasons why I switched from Canon to Sony a few years ago, because I wanted to continue using Sigma lenses. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people are switching from Canon to Sony right now, because you have way more third-party lens options if you do go the Sony route. So yesterday, Sigma announced that starting this year, they will begin to release some Sigma lenses for the Canon RF mount. Now, all of these lenses so far are for APS-C. Who knows why it is just APS-C lenses for now, but that's all we got. So the list of lenses that they're planning to release this year is pretty long, starting with the first lens coming in July, and that is the Sigma 18 to 50mm f2.8. It's actually this exact lens. This one is just in the Sony E-mount. This is a really great APS-C lens. It's small, it's compact, and essentially it is a 24 to 70mm equivalent on full frame. I think it's actually more like a 27 to 75mm equivalent. Then later in the fall, we will receive the 10 to 18mm f2.8 for RF system. Again, this is the exact same lens that we will be getting in the fall. This is just in Sony E-mount. Now this right here, probably my favorite APS-C lens, and it is on my Sony FX30 almost at all times. I've been using it to create all of my content for the last few months. Basically any video or short form content that you've seen on my channel or on Instagram or wherever since December has all been filmed on this exact lens. But this lens, even after the crop, becomes like a 15 to 27mm, so it's perfect for things like vlogging, videos, to get that wide angle view. And we'll also see a bunch of f1.4 prime lenses that Canon is missing in their lineup right now, which is the super popular Sigma 16mm, the 23mm, the 30mm, and the 56mm. Now this is a lot of new lenses coming for the Canon RF system. Essentially any lens that you would want except for like a 7200 or those long telephotos are all getting announced this year. You have your 10 to 15, which is basically like a 15 to 27mm full frame equivalent, perfect for those wide angle shots. You have the 18 to 50mm f2.8, which is like 27 to 75mm, basically like a 24 to 70 on your full frame. Then your prime lenses, which after the crop are basically like a 24mm, a 35mm, 50mm, and 85mm, all f1.4 lenses. These are all super common focal lengths. Now I can already anticipate the comments. We don't need APS-C lenses, we need full frame lenses, and I think it's just a matter of time. I think this is a step in the right direction. It finally opens the door for third-party manufacturers like Sigma to step into the Canon ecosystem again. And a powerful move for Canon because a lot of their users will be happy for the extended or the extra lens options and will be more likely to recommend Canon to friends and family. I know I do it with my Sony. Just because they have have all these lens options is one of the main reasons why I recommend Sony over Canon. Now, even though I don't shoot with Canon, I think this is all great news, and it just means that when I'm making a video like I usually do, talking about a certain Sigma lens, at least you guys can somewhat relate to it. So what do you think? Will we see third-party full-frame RF lenses coming from Sigma for Canon soon? And if so, which one do you think should come first? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, make sure to comment, leave your opinions down below. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one.